In this video, we'll be counting down the best things to do in the gorgeous city of Bath, England, saving the best for last, as well as a free map that shows you where all these activities are. Now, in case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com, and this channel is all about practical travel tips from someone who's been there, done that. So be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one. Let's start with a simple must-do now, which is a nice stroll around Bath's historic city centre. For history lovers, Bath is an absolute dream, thanks to the fact that the entire city centre is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, making every step feel like a bit of time travel if you can ignore all the pizza expresses. Little wonder why it's the city of choice for many period drama crews, and now, of course, period drama fans. Odds are you've seen Bath before on the big screen, so having a walk around to take in the sights is a must. Bath is such a photogenic city that you'll find pretty streets just about everywhere you look. But to help you get started, some highlights for me include picturesque Bath Street, which dates back to 1791, Abbey Green, one of Bath's prettiest squares, with a giant tree that's actually one of the oldest of its kind in the world, Margaret's Buildings, with plenty of lampposts and cute shops, and Pulteney Weir. For the uninitiated, a weir is basically a type of low dam used to regulate the flow of a river, which sounds boring until you see it in action. Pulteney Weir in particular is very picturesque, with a unique horseshoe shape creating a series of little cascades in front of the iconic Pulteney Bridge. Today, it offers one of the best photo ops in town. Close by, you can also stop by the Parade Gardens, which offer lush lawns for picnicking while enjoying views of the river. There's also a small cafe on site for those who prefer to come empty-handed. The floral displays here are really pretty to admire, particularly during the summer when there's a special 3D display with a different theme every year. Do note that it does cost £2.50 to enter, but I'd say it's worth it if you want to enjoy a little walk and relaxation. For another relaxing way to enjoy the sights, you can also enjoy a boat tour on the river. This is definitely no substitute for walking around the historic centre. But if your legs need a break, a scenic little tour along the River Avon is a fun and scenic activity that gives you a fresh perspective on the city's signature buildings. You might even spot a few fun surprises along the way. Now, close by, you can enjoy another must-do activity, which is a walk over the Pulteney Bridge. With its scenic location along the River Avon, there are a number of pretty bridges scattered across Bath, although this one is by far the most interesting. Pulteney Bridge is notable in that it's one of only 4 bridges in the entire world with covered shops spanning both sides of the bridge. And while you'll no doubt photograph it from afar, it's definitely worth a walk across. Along the way, you'll find lovely little cafes, florists, jewelers, and other boutique shops to discover. So go wild. If you're up for extending your walk as well, continuing along Great Pulteney Street will bring you to the next Bath must-do for culture lovers, which is to admire the beautiful art at the HOLBURNE Museum, also known as Bath's first ever public art gallery, with many beautiful paintings, porcelain, silver, and sculptures. This museum also happens to be attached to the Sydney Gardens, which is another beautiful area to wander through when the weather cooperates. Close by, you'll find one of the more unique hidden gems I've stumbled across in the city, which is St. Mary's Churchyard. I know it might seem morbid to visit a cemetery, but the one at St. Mary's Churchyard is noteworthy in that it has little signs that tell the stories of those who were buried there. You can even download a cemetery trail to learn more. Or simply explore the ruins on your own, finding a little bit of peace away from the crowds. Moving back towards the city centre, another noteworthy cultural attraction is to explore the Victoria Art Gallery. The main art gallery of Bath originally opened in 1900 to commemorate the Diamond Jubilee celebrations of Queen Victoria. Today, the gallery is home to a wide variety of changing exhibitions and a free main collection upstairs. Next door, you'll also find the Bath Guildhall Market, the oldest shopping venue in the city. Today, it's still home to over 20 eclectic vendors selling everything you can imagine, So it's definitely worth a quick stop, if even just to admire the charming vintage vibe. From here, you're a short 5-minute walk away from one of Bath's most famous foodie must-dos, which is to indulge at Sally Lunn's historic eating house. Sure, it's a bit touristy, but these buns are pure heaven, and I can't help but endorse them. If you've never heard of them before, a Sally Lunn bun is a type of tea cake or sweet bun that's thought to have originated in Bath, perhaps even in this kitchen here at Sally Lunn's. Dating back to 1680, this is the perfect spot for a historic bite, and they even have a small museum downstairs for you to check out as well. Speaking of museums, one of the best things to do in Bath is really to unleash your inner nerd at a niche museum. While museums wouldn't necessarily be my main priority for those with a short time in Bath, it has to be said that there's plenty crammed into the city, ideal for various interests. For instance, Jane Austen nerds can check out the Jane Austen Centre, which is a museum about her life and works. If you prefer Mary Shelley, there's also Mary Shelley's House of Frankenstein, complete with an escape room, which might seem random, but she did apparently write much of Frankenstein here. For space nerds, there's also the Herschel Museum of Astronomy, housed in the former Bath home of William Herschel, who famously discovered the planet Uranus in this very location. For a pretty blast from the past, another fun thing to do is explore the Bath Assembly Rooms. Originally used as a place for dance and music, and one so popular that when they opened in 1711, they were described as the most noble and elegant of any in the kingdom. Today, visitors can explore the lovely architecture in 4 main rooms: a ballroom, a tea room, a card room, and the octagon room. There are 10 original crystal chandeliers still hanging here, and you can even book a behind-the-scenes tour to learn more about the building's history. Just don't forget your ball gown, because this is actually a very famous Bridgerton location, fittingly where they held a ball. Once upon a time, this venue was also home to Bath's Fashion Museum, with a dazzling collection tracing the history of fashion from the 16th century to today. Unfortunately, this museum is in the process of relocating and is temporarily closed for now, so be sure to give it a quick Google before your trip. Beyond museums though, I think one of the best things to do is visit Bath's many amazing bookshops. As a sucker for pretty bookshops, Bath is one of my favorite places to frolic and browse, with bookshops aplenty all over town. Some of my favorites include Topping & Company, which is conveniently located near all the main sites, with big beautiful shelves to browse and even free hot drinks if you want to cozy in for a little bit. There's also Persephone Books, who specialize mainly in out-of-print books by female authors, beautifully bound with a lot of unique finds. And of course, there's Mr. B's Emporium of Reading Delights, a maze-like bookshop with tons of books to browse and cute, quirky decor. Now, moving on to some of those iconic and most famous must-dos, we have number 5, which is to visit the famous Bath Royal Crescent. Odds are you've seen this beautiful backdrop in a period drama at some point, with 30 intact townhouses home to a number of fancy people, as well as a nice hotel and even a museum where you can snoop around and see what homes look like back in the Georgian era. Sure, the spot is mostly a photo op, but it's a beautiful one. A short 5-minute walk from here, you'll also find the Circus, a ring of townhouses also from the Georgian period with a circular park in the middle, supposedly inspired by Stonehenge. I actually find this to be a lot easier to photograph than the Royal Crescent, which is way too wide to fit properly in frame. Now that you're higher up above town, I have to recommend one of the more underrated activities in Bath, which is a wander through the Prior Park Landscape Garden, where you'll find over 28 acres of gorgeous landscapes to enjoy. Set on the side of a steep valley, this landscape garden was originally a deer park until it was bought and remodeled in the 18th century, to very impressive results. Today, the park is owned by the National Trust and contains a number of pretty features for visitors to enjoy, including its iconic Palladian Bridge. While you're high up above the city, another underrated and stunning thing to do is enjoying the views from Alexandra Park, a small but lovely park with some of the best views in the city, making it more than worth the steep climb. Come for sunset to enjoy it at its best. Now, at this point, I still haven't mentioned one of the most popular things to do in Bath, which is of course to visit the Roman baths, the very ones that gave Bath its modern name. While the natural springs of Bath predate even the Roman occupation of Britain, the structures that can still be visited today date back to around 60 to 70 AD, when the Romans built a temple here. For centuries, this was the go-to spot to soak in the city's mineral-rich hot springs, said to have special healing properties. And while soaking in the tempting waters is no longer an option here, today the Roman baths offer an interesting museum site, where you can see the ancient Roman building, learn more about the town's history, and even taste test some of the water for yourself. If you'd rather soak in the water though, rather than read about it or sip it, the Thermae bath spot is just around the corner, offering a nice though busy spa experience along with a very pretty rooftop pool overlooking the baths and the #1 most iconic thing to do on our list, which is of course to explore Bath Abbey. This stunning abbey is the centerpiece of historic Bath, and was once a Benedictine monastery. While its perpendicular Gothic design is plenty majestic from the outside, trust me when I say you'll want to catch a glimpse of the interior as well. Today's present structure dates back to the 16th century, meaning it has had plenty of time to cement itself as one of the most beautiful sights in southwest England. And cement it has, with breathtaking stained glass windows, as well as a drool-worthy fan-vaulted ceiling. Of course, Bath Abbey is still a working church, so be sure to check their website to see when services will be happening. And be sure to book a tour at the front desk upon arrival, so you can actually climb the 212 steps to the top. This does cost an additional fee, but is definitely worth it in my opinion for the best views in the entire city, as well as a very unique behind-the-scenes look at the Abbey, its bells, and all its hidden views. That's not all, of course. If you're lucky enough to catch Bath during certain special events, you'll achieve the impossible and fall even deeper in love with it. Those visiting in September, for instance, can enjoy the annual Jane Austen Festival, whose opening day event is a grand procession through the city where hundreds of people dress up in Regency-era gear. And those coming in December can experience one of the loveliest Christmas markets in England, with the stunning Bath City Centre as a backdrop, and plenty of local independent vendors. Alright, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for more travel videos just like this one, and we'll see you next time. Bye!